Now, France's fast fashion law is before the French Senate today as a means of trying to combat the environmental impact of the fashion industry. In light of raised awareness about how our thirst for clothes is hurting the planet, what is a shopper to do? Well, Solange Mouchat joins me in the studio for one alternative, buying used clothing. Solange, this is something that's gaining steam here in France, hasn't it? For years now, actually.
Yeah, the French have been fans of used shopping for centuries. From the Carreau du Temple market in Paris, which was in the 18th and 19th centuries, where Parisians of all walks of life would come to buy used fabrics, to flea markets, les puces in French, les friperies, thrift stores, to the more modern online marketplaces. Many French shoppers have, and for years, gone out in search of a bargain by buying used clothes. But now in France, like elsewhere, the combination of tighter budgets, increased environmental consciousness, and the ease of online apps means that the sector is booming. For example, the site Vinted, well, it is France's #1 clothes seller when it comes to volume. This is according to the IFM, the French Institute of Fashion. And the effects of all this used clothes shopping are far from all green and far from all good. But before we get into the bad, let's look at how big this second-hand market is here and also elsewhere. Globally, used items of all sorts, from tech to furniture to clothes, well, they are an at least 105 billion euro sector. Those are the 2021 figures from BPI, an investment firm. Now, the growth since then has been exponential, particularly in Western European nations, and particularly when it comes to clothing, which is the main driver here. And the used clothes market is expected to be growing over 10 times faster than that of the new clothes sector. As for France, well, it's thought to account for about 8% of the global second-hand clothing market. It's an at least 8 billion euro industry here, according to Les Echos. And that's great if you consider that a piece of used clothing, well, it has a carbon footprint that is 82% less than a new garment. And shoppers know this, whether they head out to a used clothes store or purchase online.
I think it's good. You can purchase things that go back to another family and have another life.
Secondhand allows you to indulge without spending too much. And it's important to continue to treat yourself to things.
I try to do my best at my level to reduce my environmental impact, and buying in thrift stores is part of that.
Now, Solange, buying a second-hand is good for the environment, it's good for your wallet. What are some of the drawbacks?
Well, the negative sides, there are many of them, and not necessarily in the most expected places. There are many online used clothing platforms here in France. There are the big brand names that have their own sites as they're catching on that this is a booming sector, and it comes with a nice greenwashing badge. And then there are sites like Le Bon Coin, Vide Dressing, once again, and Vinted, which I mentioned earlier, which is the #1 seller of clothes in France. The Lithuanian company is thought to have some 100 million users globally, and France is their #1 market. But like social media, these sites can be addictive. It's led to potential over-consumerism. It's cheap, so you buy more. It's also led consumers to look at prices differently. Everything in shops potentially suddenly feels too expensive. Fast fashion does this as well. Then there's the carbon footprint of sending and receiving all of these little packages. In France, a whole new world of drop-off and pick-up locations has emerged in recent years. And finally, the online used clothing boom has caused a dramatic decrease in the number of unwanted clothes that people actually donate. And that's having a dire effect on French charities, which not only are receiving fewer high-quality items, but they are receiving fewer sellable donations. And with that decrease, an entire chain is faltering from charity employment to overseas donations.
The private sector clearly wants to control the market, and their goal isn't helping others, but rather to profit.
So, Solange, is purchasing used clothing a good solution to reducing the impact from the fashion industry, the negative impacts?
It is, but it's far from a magic solution because it can so easily invite excessive consumerism. But nonetheless, it is part of a broader consciousness that is positive. On a societal level, the way we see used or old or unwanted, it is changing. People are rethinking how they consume, and in lots of different ways, be it buying local brands or turning to slow fashion. There's actually even a slow fashion week in Marseille now that recycles extra fabric from haute couture shows, or be it seeking out that used but really good quality item that you plan on wearing for years. It's all about being mindful, not only in how we dress, but also in how we consume.
Interesting stuff. Thank you very much for that, Solange Moujon out there.